tell me about the recording of Goodbye Night Sky.
So we did the album in, I think, 4 separate recording sessions at King Size Sound Labs, and I think this was in the second to last one. So we already kind of had half the record done at the point, and we wrote the record during the pandemic, and then we started recording it once we went back on the road. As everybody knows, our day job is we work in the touring business. We were on tour at Jawbreaker, and we had a 4-night stand in Chicago, which is where we were recording the album at King Size Sound Labs there. And so we knew that we were going to be in Chicago, and so we had planned this recording session that we'd go into record in the mornings, or in the morning until load-in time or whatever. And Smoking Popes were opening for us for Jawbreaker there on that thing, and I've known Josh and the Smoking Popes guys for a long time. So we tracked if I remember correctly, we tracked the instruments and the drums maybe on the first. We had 2 days, I think, like in the middle of this thing, where we tracked the drums and guitars and all that stuff. And then John Abbey, who is an unbelievable, the song is pretty simple. It's basically just a 2-chord. It's just C to G is all the song is. There's 2 separate parts, but sort of, the collaborative aspect of a song like this is really, when it's a simple song, that's super important. And I love that we had the kind of orientation that we would leave room for, we didn't have to have every thing figured out before we went in to record it. So we started recording, we did the drums and the guitar, if I remember correctly, my guitars and stuff, and maybe a scratch vocal. So we had the arrangement all figured out. And then we had John Abbey play bass. And, when you listen to the song, the bass part is such a key part of it. His flowing and weaving in and out and pauses and parts. John is a complete master bass player, musician. I just, to me, he really makes the song move in a way that is, I think, more almost like a Queen song. I think because we were talking about John Deacon and Queen, and how this song has kind of got this big Queeny kind of anthem, and we were talking about John Deacon from Queen, and also Ronnie Wood from who plays bass with early Rod Stewart, and there's really great rhythmic things that he does that John pulled off unbelievable. He just totally made the song in that. He made that part of the song, the movement of a simple part, really go into the stratosphere. So that was one thing. Another thing is our friend Ira from Not a Surf, the drummer, Ira Elliott, the drummer from Not a Surf, had this kind of point. He had heard the demo, I think, and then he had this idea for Sarah to do this different thing in the kind of pre-chorus than we were thinking of, that really filled in. He gave her a really good thing, so we tweaked the drum part with that little piece of advice, which was really cool. That again helped the song build as it goes along. And then the icing on the cake. So the goodbye. I always had the idea of myself doing a call and response. I think even maybe the demo had the goodbye, the call and response thing. And then so we're playing with the doing these Jawbreaker shows, and I asked Josh, I said, hey, could Sarah and I are making this record, and we'd love it if you'd come in and do this call and response part. And he was like, yeah. So I think I asked him about it. I think we had 4 nights with Jawbreaker at House of Blues Chicago, and Popes were opening each night. And I think I asked him the first day, because I hadn't seen him in a while. This was out of the pandemic, so I hadn't seen him in a while. And I just say, hey, great to catch up. And Sarah and I wrote this record, and we were recording this week, and I'd love it if you could come in and do this song. And he said, yeah, sure, text me the song. So I texted him the demo that we had, and he he did the show, and we were texting back and forth, and he's like, oh man, it's a cool song, I really like it. I said, yeah, I love it if you're, Josh has such a beautiful, distinctive voice that I love forever. I've loved his songwriting and his voice. I've just been a fan of his forever. And but you know, I also thought it would be a good kind of you know, like a separate timbre, a separate feel to his voice. So that was, so we had that going. So then the morning that he came in, so we had all the instruments tracked and all this great bass part, the song, so that was really coming together. And then when he came in, I met him, I remember meeting him down in his car, and I think maybe Sarah and somebody else were like tracking something else upstairs or doing some percussion on another song. And the way the studio is, I had to go down to the street to let him in. So I helped him get his car parked, and we were talking. He said, you know, I came up with this other part for the song, and so he kind of played me the demo that I sent him on his phone, and he started humming this other part that he had, this kind of goodbye night sky, and I was just like, yeah, man, you have full creative license to add any kind of thing that you want. And I mean, that voice of his and the harmony part that he came onto, and then this kind of ascending counter melody that he came up with, to me just like took the song into like this, it really takes it into the anthem sphere, which to me, that's, you know, Smoking Popes are all anthems, and that's why I love them. And yeah, he just added such magic to it that it was just, it took it. Josh is a very spiritual person, as a lot of people know, and the song is very spiritual and kind of has this, you know, universal theme. And I thought that like it really elevated, his contribution really elevated the thing into like I think a really universally spiritual kind of like, look, we're all in this together, and if we all work together as a, you know, human family, then everything's going to be okay. So it was, his contribution is just unbelievable. We're super lucky to have him.